Welcome you to the workshop meeting for Verona Borough for April 24th, 2018. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Kenna.
President Ricky Bell.
Here.
Mr. Consul.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter is not with us this evening. Mrs. Dualba. Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich. Present. Mayor Cooper also is not with us. Mr. Pitch is.
Here.
And Mr. Alexander is not in.
Okay.
Let me go up in the ballpark.
Okay, no registered comments. Council will now hear comments from the public on agenda-related items. Please approach the podium, clearly state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay. Borough Manager's report. Mr. Kenna.
Okay, just a few quick things. I spoke with Oakland Water Authority and about the issues that Dave has brought up, and they did 18 saw cuts throughout the borough to the places that they're patching, and they plan to do paving, asphalt within the next week or so. So you'll see that. The only one that they're not doing right away is Selden by the boulevard there, or Front Street,
Selden.
They expect that to continue to sink, and they don't want to do all the paving until it's done sinking. So they're going to patch it again, clean it out, patch it again, and then once it settles, they're going to cut it and patch it for permanently. I just want to give an update for the website. The website is just about done. All the copies there, all the different pages are up. There's going to be somebody in town within the next few days to take some photos, take some high resolution photos, and then we have to get the events calendar figured out, all the different events, and then we're done. We had our communications meeting. I thought that went really well the other day. Went over some things that went well. I talked to Mr. John today about the porta potties at Cribbs Field. They missed last week, but they will be here tomorrow to clean it, and they'll be here every Thursday.
Every Thursday, thank you.
And then the final thing is, I got a call from the county exec, Rich Fitzgerald's office, regarding a municipal tour. They're scheduling the tour tentatively right now for May 30th at 5. Darla Cravata is who reached out to me. She sent me an email, and she wants for me to work with her to kind of coordinate an agenda, topics. She expressed to me that nothing's off limits. Anything that any of the council members want to discuss with them is fair game, whether it's positive or not, she said. She said that they do this a lot, and they could be anything from developmental projects, public works concern, railroads, anything that the county's involved in or can assist with. And their tours range from looking at parks, walking business districts, and visiting a library. They will be here to either walk or they will have a bus, a 26-person bus.
Nice.
So they'll drive everybody around and tour the community and figure out what they can do to help us. So she wanted me to kind of put together a schedule where we want to go, what we want to show them, and what our council members would like to discuss with them. And I need to get back to her. So if you guys could email me, call me within the next few days and get me a list of things. And then as we nail down this time, we'll make sure that you guys get the final time. Right now it's May 30th at 5, so if you can schedule around that. And the idea is that they want to start here and have maybe 30 minutes or so in chambers to kind of discuss some things with council members. And then after that, we'll either walk or we'll take the bus and we'll go show them the town and what we need them to be aware of. So that's all I have.
When you meet with Darla, if she comes, can I be part of that, please?
Yeah, I think we're probably just gonna email back and forth, maybe phone call, but if we end up meeting, I'll let you know, and if you wanna be around for the call, maybe we can do something like that.
Good, very good, thank you. Okay, Mayor couldn't be present this evening, doctor's appointment, so he asked that I share with you a couple things. Officer Bill will be going to the Lower Valley Ambulance Health Verona Day at the Taylor Building on the 28th, I believe it is. Sergeant Franco says that there is a sign on the door. It's 11 to 4, and he will be taking the new police car over, and they're also going to get children's badges and that to give to the children to come over. He also looked at a price for the Doughboy to raise it up 2 feet via sandstone slabs, one of each, each being 12 inches, 12-inch slabs, to a cost of $640. So I don't know, if we need to think about that for a while. One of my thoughts is, if we're going to put it up on slabs, should there be some sort of wrought iron gate around it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it, I don't know what would be stopping somebody. 2 feet to me isn't very much. I could probably climb 2 feet and get on him and climb him like the last guy did. So if we want to think about it and at the public meeting, decide what we're going to do. Okay? A couple things that I have. Verona Give Back Day is on May 4th. The second grade teachers class wants to honor the council members, the elected officials, as well as the mayor. They want to come down to the council chambers here and put little thank you cards and gifts at everybody's seat, and they have a little demonstration to do us like a little project kind of thing that they're going poems or dance. I'm not real sure what it is, but they want to perform for us. They're going to videotape it for people who cannot be here, but I told the teacher that I would try, I would put it out to people who might be available on May 4th around 10 o'clock to meet with the second grade from Verona Elementary. At 1:30 this afternoon, I was called by the kindergarten teacher and the principal as well. The kindergarten class wants to plant flowers, but the one thing they need is they need to have water available to them. They did not know what kind of flowers they were going to plant. They didn't know how many. They did know that they have 24 children that want to come down and plant flowers someplace. They were talking about Cribbs Field. I thought, well, watering has to be done. I don't know who wants to truck up the hill with water to do that. So I was thinking about over here at the Borough Building. I know the Boy Scouts many years ago built a very nice planter type thing out in front of the garage. It hasn't been taken care of in years. I was thinking something there, but I don't know if it needs dirt as well. So, I mean, they didn't give me a whole lot of information to go on here, so I was thinking, I was trying to brainstorm myself at home, and I was thinking that maybe they could plant flowers out here in front of the Borough Building where the shrubbery is, and it could be watered by the street department or whoever cleans up the cigarette butts and that's out there. I don't know if anybody has any other suggestions.
Sandy, how soon are they talking to do it?
May 4th.
May 4th.
Yeah, and they're hoping for good weather, because if it rains, they don't know what they're going to do. Maybe select another day.
That planter outside the garage, that was an Eagle Scout project, I think, but
yes.
I think the wood's all rotted out.
Okay.
If you wanted, we could take that down and put a new one up and fill with dirt and stone on the bottom for drainage if you want them to plant in there.
Well, what does council want? I mean, it's up to us because
We
they
have,
were,
would our street crew have time to build something
Yeah.
that fast?
That's just a weekend
yeah.
from Thursday.
Well, if it's an option, I can talk to AJ. I don't know. I'd have to find out if they could build it that quick.
You know,
It's a matter of some railroad ties.
I mean, I was just thinking, you know, for convenience purposes, maybe just have them plan out here in front of the...
Which were the steps where the drawing is, over by the Doughboy?
Yeah,
Is there anywhere on that hill that they could do it?
they could probably do it there too, but then it would be a watering
It has to be
back.
watered, yeah, okay.
Are we getting a water line at Cribs?
We could, yeah, eventually eventually that was the plan. Not right now, but as soon as we gotta get all this lighting stuff done.
Probably be the best and simplest, because we have OBR this summer.
They can-
Pull the weeds, water.
Around it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandy,
Yes.
the garden club talked about they're pulling those trees, those small trees out of the plan. I think we talked about
I've seen
it.
those used.
And we were thinking about putting them there too, so with those and flowers. So,
Okay. Well, I have to get back to them because May 4th isn't that far away. Okay. Any idea of the types of flowers? I was thinking about something hardy like marigolds or geraniums.
See, maybe they could do, I know I've done it with my daycare children, is they have like sunflower seeds, you know, they could do a sunflower garden, take along either a wall or something like that, would be pretty or nice. And they have like child-sized sunflower seeds that,
Okay.
you know, they're child-sized, so they could have their own, and it could be their, you know, their plant if they ever wanted to come and see it, you know.
Right.
They plant
Where
it
could
and
that be
see
though?
where we put it.
Or if it could be right here on the side of the building. If there's enough room. How many did you say?
There are 24 children,
24.
and I said, are each of them going to plant? They weren't sure if each of them were going to plant. They said if not each of them, then they could always buddy up with somebody. So even if you buddy up 12 kids, could we do sunflowers along the side there?
That
I'll have to
or
look.
whatever.
You know what, between the side and the front.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll just do it around the Borough Building here, and I'll let it be their discretion. Okay. I'm not sure the time. They weren't sure what time they would be coming down, but I do know that 10 o'clock is the second grade. So whoever can be here on the 4th, much appreciated. I got the committee descriptions from everybody. Thank you so much for getting that to me. My intent, I was talking with Ray earlier this afternoon, my intent is to meet then with each of you so that we can fine tune these and get a booklet made so that incoming people aren't at a loss for what committees are supposed to do. Dr. Carpenter has not submitted anything, so I'm assuming when she gets back, we will get it. Talking about the sewer line and that, Matt, maybe you can elaborate on this. Peach Alley, again, there was a significant hole where it always comes. I believe when Larry was here, it was the house behind me. I don't know, like I don't know what, when they filmed it, what it showed, that if we're gonna pay Peach Alleys, we gotta do something about getting these things fixed first, or it's just going to continue sinking.
Yeah, AJ and I talked about that. With the lining, it's definitely not the main line issue. The line back there is pretty deep, so I think what happens is the private lines come in pretty shallow and then make a pretty steep dive down to the main line. And it's common where it makes the bend that they separate there. So I'll have to talk with Craig and work with AJ to possibly smoke and dye test some properties to try to figure out exactly where the problem's coming from.
So before that alley gets paid, I think it should be right up there with Selden, like not right away.
No, and I agree, and I talked with AJ about that. We have an understanding of how we can maybe patch it temporarily so it holds up better to where it doesn't continue to sink. Use a little bit bigger stone before putting some cold patch down. But I have been talking with him, so I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Bob, did AJ get in touch with you about that?
No.
All right, he's supposed to get in touch with you about that sewer line.
Okay, the other thing, I attended the Riverview School District Board meeting on the 16th, I believe, just to make you all aware that there is over an $800,000 deficit between what they need to run the school next year and what they currently have. There were probably close to 50 or 60 people in the auditorium. I was the only Verona representative there. So I put an email out to all of council reprimanding them for not participating in these meetings, because if taxes go up 2.5 mils, like they went up last school year, I think everybody in Verona needs to hang their head in shame. Something needs to be done here. It's not Oakmont School District, it's Riverview School District. I got tired of hearing Oakmont School District at the meeting, so I went up and announced that I was the only Verona resident, and it's not Oakmont School District, it is Riverview, and that they need to remember the community next to them on their way into Pittsburgh. So, you know, another big concern of mine is that Verona loses their elementary school. So consider that too when you're not going to the meetings. And that's everything from me. Mr. Pitch.
The first thing I'll touch on is the paving. So we talked about a couple streets last week. Jerry and I have been working on it. We have some liquid fuels funds. We have certain amounts set aside for different projects that they're allowed to be paid for, such as the salt shed potentially. We did find out that the street sweeper repairs, we're allowed to use liquid fuels monies for that. And so looking at what's remaining in the streets, one of the ideas that we had talked about is First Street. Well, there's also a grant out right now, the GEDF, it's the gaming fund, and we decided to apply for that, which would encompass First Street from south to north, removing all the bricks, repaving the entire street, fixing all the bad curb, and putting ADA ramps on every corner. With that, there is a resolution that goes along with that. The estimated project cost on that would be around $408,000. If we should be awarded that, our local share would only be $45,500, and that is also allowed to come out of the liquid fuels, which we have earmarked for that. So essentially, it wouldn't really come out of our pocket at all. It'd come out of the liquid fuels funds. So if everyone is okay with that, I would just need the approval of the resolution.
Matt, did you get the letter from the principal at the elementary school?
Not yet.
Okay.
Did it come to your email?
No, it did not. So I think the last time she asked me when it was needed, but you were included in that, so I didn't know if you had answered her.
I did not see, I'll have to check it. Sometimes my spam folder grabs them.
Okay.
I'll check that to see if it's in there.
All right, and then let me know so that when I talk to her tomorrow about the planning, I can let her know.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll double check, and I can always give you a call and let you know.
Good. Can I have a motion to approve the GEDF application that Mr. Pitch wants to submit for the paving of First Street from South to North Avenue?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti, I'll second.
Second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
So looping back to the rest of the paving, along with the other streets that we had listed, one of them was Brunot Street. And with the amount of funds that we have allocated with the liquid fuels, I know there was some question as to what street we would look at for paving this year, being that we're removing First because of the grant app. Jerry and myself have talked to the water company, and it's a potential possible cost sharing for front in Selden Street next year for fixing that. We're still in preliminary talks with that, but either way, the water company doesn't want to move ahead with paving right away because they're afraid that their trench might settle some. So I would recommend not paving that. So it pretty much narrows it down to either Brunot Street or the dead end of Vogel's from Athletic to the dead end. For the amount of money we have left in the liquid fuels account, I would recommend that we pave Brunot Street, which would encompass a mill and overlay in any spot repairs of soft areas.
I agree with you on that.
Matt, question.
Yes.
The paving from south to north, is it going to include the little alley too from Parker to north? Little alley?
No.
No, this would only be for the First Street only. That we are looking at the low volume dirt and gravel grant. It opens up in July. That can go towards trying to fix some alleys, as well as with the COG receiving some of the paving equipment. We'll be able to try to fix some of the alleys in-house with that equipment.
So maybe blacktop that?
Yeah, I think we need to get in there and try to fix some of the drainage, and then probably blacktop it, but we are thinking of that. It just wouldn't be a part of this project.
Okay, I thought if you had something left even that you could put it there because it's not small.
Yeah.
But that won't work, I guess.
Not as part as the grant project. I can talk to AJ, and if he's fixing other things around town, I can ask him to take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
So if the board would be in agreement, a motion would be needed to advertise for Brunot Street paving this year.
Okay, can I have a motion to advertise for the pavement of Brunot Street this year?
I'll make a motion to advertise for the pavement of Brunot Street.
Okay, and I will second. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And just a quick reminder, we did receive the CDBG grant for the Diamond Way lining. I briefly spoke about the point repair that is needed behind the post office. I didn't get a chance to get it advertised yet, but that will be coming down because that's something we'll need to complete before we can line the rest of the line there.
Okay.
And the last thing I have is the first pay estimate for the lining up in the 2nd, 3rd Street area came in. It is a reimbursable through the DCD. So I just need authorization to apply for the reimbursement. Excuse me when I say reimbursement, it's actually, we have not paid anything yet for it. It's for costs incurred. So they'll actually give us the money before we have to pay for it.
Can I have a motion for Mr. Pitch to apply for the cost incurred grant that covered the lining on the 2nd part of 3rd?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McCarthy. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Matt?
Yes.
Can I ask another question, please? Some time ago, First Street from center to north was dug up because of water issues. Weren't they ever held responsible to make that right? Is there any way we can still hold them since it's going to be done and they can pay part of it?
I can talk to Craig. On this type of project, we would be receiving such a large grant that I think it would be cost inhibited to try to legally fight them for all the more. We would only be on the hook for a little over 10% of the actual money. I'll talk to Craig and find out. I think some of those things that comes into play that it happened a while ago, it happened with a different board of directors on their side, so no one really knows exactly what was said or even if a handshake deal was done, but I can ask Craig.
If I remember correctly, they said they would repair it. To this day, they've never touched it.
Yeah, and I know through Jerry and my talks with the water company, some of the patches that are still around town that aren't fixed yet, they are planning on fixing them. I think 12 or 13 of them. 18 different areas are going to be fixed.
I didn't know whether they could help us with that or not.
Yeah, I have to say, the board that's over there now, they're pretty easy to talk to. Even when we did Spruce, they're easy to get along with. Everyone seems to work together and try to go for the betterment of every community. So that's why I'm hoping we can talk and maybe do some type of cost sharing next year on Front Street there. So unfortunately, sometimes when it comes to those old things, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Right. I just wondered. Thank you for explaining.
Yep.
Mr. Conti?
I talked to AJ about the street sweeper. The only stainless steel that they can replace is a small piece. The rest of it would have to be steel, and it would be at a cost of, I think he said, a little over $1,000 to change that one part to stainless. So it's really not worth it. So he's going to have them repair it. They should be repairing it right now, just with all the steel, the regular metal parts. And like Matt said, the liquid fuels money, we can use some of that, if not all of it. I don't know how much is in there to pay for the street sweeper. So hopefully they'll be able to fix it pretty quick and get it back to us. The RAA was up at Cribs. They trenched all the put all the conduit in, backfilled all of it. It still needs a little bit of cleanup. They're going to do that, seed it and manure it. And the next step is getting the boxes hung on the poles and getting the lights hung. And then the electrician will start pulling the wires through the conduits and get everything hooked up and get that rolling. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
And the shed looks nice where it is.
Yeah. Oh, I do have one more thing.
Okay.
The horseshoe pits up there, we're gonna have to remove those. Someone's gonna really get hurt with those pins sticking up out of the ground. There used to be plastic pipes with caps over them, and the kids just take them off and throw them around. But someone's gonna get hurt. We're gonna have to, Mr. Forback, I think he's in agreement with it also. There was an Eagle Scout project, so you tried not destroying something that the kids do, but in this instance, I think we're gonna have to take that out, eliminate it.
Well, let's do it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Before somebody gets hurt.
Okay, and that's all.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy?
I gave both you and Dom information for the police. We'll be working on that, and we'll get together.
Thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Suchovich?
Nothing at this time.
Mrs. Loalbo?
I was wondering if we could have the water turned on up at Cribs.
I talked to AJ, he's supposed to get a hold of the water for it and have it turned on this week. I don't know when, depends on their schedule with those guys, but he was supposed to get in touch with them. I'll talk to AJ and find out what they told him.
Yeah, last weekend was opening day for RAA, so I guess you like the water fountain and also the bathrooms, they can be used.
Yeah.
Freezing temperature. And I know the guys would like to know an answer if we're interested in having a Keystone State Wrestling Alliance come to the town, to the borough, to do the fundraiser. I would like to set the date, but they need approval from council first.
I don't have a problem.
Anybody have a problem
I
with
don't
it?
have a problem with
I don't have a problem.
Make a motion.
Make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to go forward with the Keystone State Wrestling Alliance fundraiser.
No, second.
Second. Motion made by Mrs. Loalbo, second by Mr. Conti for the Keystone Wrestling Association to move forward with the date. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And we talked about the bathrooms earlier, so that's all I have.
Thank you.
If I may, while we were talking about the parks, I forgot under my report. There is a Keystone Communities grant that is coming up. It is due at the end of May. It is for park revitalization. I had met with AJ and we took a look up at Cribs. There is some roof repair that needs done at the pavilion, some painting, and the restrooms could use some updating. At this point, I don't have any more details as to what the cost amount would be, or like cost sharing, I can bring that to the regular meeting. But if the board would like, I can start to look into that grant opportunity.
Can I have a motion for Mr. Pitch to start looking into the grant opportunity for the park revitalization?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions?
I just have one question. I think, I don't know, if we keep moving forward, that building's not gonna be sufficient enough. I still think we should look into taking that building down and putting a new one up that's a little bit bigger, set up a little bit different. I don't know if that grant could.
That is one thing I talked about AJ with. I did take some pictures and some quick measurements of the restrooms. These grants usually require ADA bathrooms, which would basically eliminate move the restrooms down to one toilet apiece, because they are on the smaller side. And with some of the other repairs, I'll look at both options as to, they do make some pretty nice prefab structures now to where the restrooms wouldn't even have to be attached to the pavilion. You can do freestanding restrooms, and then with aluminum or steel pavilion like down at the park here. So there's a couple options we can look at. If the cost of renovating the existing starts to get too close to the price of a new one, I would recommend looking at the new option.
Would we be looking into like a concession stand added on to that also? Is that part of that?
That's one of the things that was discussed about it. If we were able to put a different building in, a bigger building, would we be able to put a concession stand there that would be run by, just say, usually it's RAA. They would run it, they would stock it, they would take care of it for the most part. Yeah, it would, I think it would, my opinion, I think it would be worth doing.
I think it'd be worth looking into anyway.
Yeah, it's something that we'll look at the cost. I know that up there with AJ, there really isn't much of a concession area right now. It's more of a closet with some hot warming trays. Yeah. It would be nice to at least maybe have a slop sink or something in there.
Well, so, when the kids play up there, nobody has something to drink or nothing.
Yeah, so.
It's broke.
What's that?
There's a sink in there. It's just broke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's been broke for like 4 years.
That's the other thing too. The plumbing of the building's pretty old. I even noticed the one pipe must have froze over the winter in the men's room going to the sink. It was separated, so there comes a cost with repairing all that as well. Yes. Versus something new. So we'll look at all the options.
And my understanding is that communications room in the back isn't even being used now. We don't use that for anything.
Not since. Probably not since everything went to the 911 system, because that would have been a repeater system set up to be with Penn Hills.
No, that was for Toronto.
Well then
that
later.
That was never used for Penn Hills.
But then later Toronto.
That was never used for Penn Hills.
Well, I don't know.
I know
for sure.
Because I remember when that big tip went on.
Okay.
That was all for
But
Toronto.
none of that stuff is there now because of the 911 center.
I think with the camera systems, the police chief has like a internet router.
Right.
But I mean, that could very easily be mounted in the ceiling or something like that.
Okay.
Also, when I was up there the other day, I took a walk up there the other day, right where the concession stands are, like in the back that faces Athletic, there's the fencing, and that's where the electric box is. That one corner is open, and there were kids playing. One little girl ran back there, and I even said to her, I said, honey, don't go back there, that's not real safe.
We fixed that twice, and somehow they pry it out of it. It was even bolted into the block, and they still somehow get it pried off there. I don't know what else you can do there.
I know. I don't know what other type of gate.
Unfortunately, someone's going to get seriously hurt, and then maybe they'll realize. Hopefully, that's not what happens, but.
Exactly. But yeah, that one side is open, they're running back there, so.
I'll get them to try going up there again.
If something happens, we can maybe do a different blockage area for that as well. Is there anything else that I need?
I was saying, Parks Board, we were actually compiling a list of all the things that needed to be done. We think they could be for that grant, and I think we were actually looking at the same grant. It's good that you're doing it.
The Keystone Communities?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yes. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Provenza.
We're currently working on the newsletter, and Curtis and I have been talking on the phone about the new system here that's going to be set up. And the date for the closing of newsletter information is June the 10th. If anybody wants to do an article or an ad, it would be June the 10th would be the last day.
Okay, and who does that get sent to?
That can be sent to Kathy Ferguson.
Do you have her contact? All right. Council of Governments is meeting tomorrow evening, so I will be able to share information at our public meeting on that. Anything from the League of Municipalities or the TCC. Okay, council will now hear comments on public-related items at this time. Please approach the podium, clearly state your name and address, and limit your comment to 3 minutes. Please, if you're going to talk, make sure you're signed in. Something I learned at the school board meeting. No sign in, no talk.
No pen.
No pen. And council will honor opinions and statements. This is not a question and answer period.
Mike Forbeck, 624 3rd Avenue. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I went to the Plum Creek Watershed meeting, and I think you were on it before, I think Bob, and they wanted somebody from Verona, so they emailed me, said, sure, I'll go. They're doing a lot of work that's parallel to what we're doing on the trails and also connecting the communities. One of the things that they were looking at is putting the trail from the parking along Plum Creek over the old railroad bed along Plum Street. And what happens with there, they point out, it actually goes from Oakmont to Penn Hills, and there's a small section that's Verona, a very tiny triangle, and then it goes back to Oakmont. So they're going to go for a grant, and what they would like to have from council is a letter saying that Verona's okay with them going forward on the grant. I'll get you the language really from what we need in the letter. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. And then they also had an ordinance that was signed, and I wanted to give this to Janet. I'm sorry, it's all wrinkled. Got kind of rain. For the intergovernmental agreement that you were working on, so they were just wanted to let you know that for the parks and for.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go.
All right, I wanted to give a couple updates. We are up to 121 signups so far, so we're moving right along in regards to the goal that we have set for, I believe, June and set for September. Specifically, we wanted to put a sign at Gupta's, I would call them Gupta's, but Verona Dental, put a sign there typically where the other signs are. Gyro Mobile will cover the sign. The cost of the sign placement has been discussed, and the size will be 32 inches by 60 inches wide, so it'll be pretty big and rather easy to see if you're sitting there waiting on the bus, parked at the light, or even coming from or to and from the post office. We do need to decide on a sign specifically. We have 3 choices here, and I didn't want to just pick one sign. I just wanted to let everyone have an idea of what the sign could look like. Then we can decide on one, and then we will get it made and get it put up. So we do need to make a decision on that.
No, we didn't vote on anything.
I thought we did.
Is there a preference?
I like the middle one.
Number 2.
Number 2?
Number 2. That's what I like.
Pat, is that your choice?
That's my choice.
Number 2's fine.
2's good.
Janet?
It's fine. 2's good.
It's fine with me too.
Okay. Number 2 it is. That's perfect. There's a couple more items with the website. We can have information put directly on that. So when we get a little closer to that, we'll see the HTML code, so individuals can put their number right in the website and be signed up.
Sign up right there.
Yeah, sign up right there. So they don't need their phone to do that. And also, on the back, I do have my contact information. So if you have information that needs to go out, that you would like for me to send out for the rest of the residents, either call, leave a message, or text, I'm sorry, not text, but send an email address. Send an email so we can get that. And I will converse with you to make sure we're on the same page. Same thing with Matt, with what you just sent me, I will email it to you so we can make sure we're on the same page, we're saying the same thing and the right thing.
Sounds good.
And then we'll send it out. If things are really an emergency, we'll make sure it goes out. Other than that, we'll talk and make sure I'm saying what you think I should be saying, and we think everyone else should be reading. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis.
If you want to email it
Hi,
to
Don
me.
Worf, 636 3rd Avenue.
Dawn, can you also come to the podium?
Yeah. In relation to the website, is there going to be any chance of putting the videos onto the website?
Yeah, that's the intention.
That's the intention? Okay, so, okay, I'm doing this for that then, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I think you.
Cool.
Okay, I'll make this quick. Recently, last night, I raised
We have your name and address, please.
Oh, my name's John Meckel. I live at 450 Selden Avenue, Verona, PA, 15147. Last night, I recently raised a bunch of eyebrows. I upset a bunch of people because the law in 2017, October 30th, was changed that Pennsylvania allows aerial fireworks. So I decided to have fun. At 8:45 I started, I finished at 9:45. I upset a lot of people. Now, I was also given a warning. I need to know what my laws are for this town. Pennsylvania says it's legal, and they're under 500 grams.
You're just talking about fireworks?
Yeah, fireworks.
Okay.
Yeah, last night I made a lot of people mad.
John, there's a nuisance violation or a code.
Yeah, that's what I don't know anything about.
Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow if you like, when we go over it. I actually was going to send you a letter today.
Okay.
I don't know anything about
Can you maybe give him a copy of the
Yeah, I will.
ordinance
Yeah.
as well?
That's what
Thank
I
you.
need to know, what the ordinance is.
Okay. We also have Code 360. 360?
What is that?
You can go online,
Okay.
okay, and look up just about any code you want for the Borough of Verona.
360.
E-code.
E-code
E-code 360.
Tomorrow, or come down and see me. I'll go through the whole thing and I'll give you the website. So Google Verona.
Okay.
All right.
Okay? Thank you.
I just want to make sure I'm not constantly making people mad.
Good.
Thank you. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, I need a motion.
I have one more
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
The community survey is out on Facebook,
I did it.
through the Survey Monkey. Now, I went on Facebook, how do I get to it on Facebook? Because I look up Verona Rec Board, it doesn't come up, so.
It's Verona Recreation Board right now. I'm
Verona
trying to have it
Recreation
changed to Verona Parks and Recreation Board because I didn't set it up. Chris set it up and then he did.
Because I've been trying to search it and I haven't found the right.
Mike, I just clicked on what you sent me, and it took me right to it.
Yeah, I can send it to you. too.
Yeah.
Forward the email. We can trash. Yeah, we can do a forward email.
Yeah.
With the connection.
Maybe we could do that on
We've
the
got over
Verona
64
text as well.
responses.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that's great.
And that's not even on the letter. That's good.
Very nice.
Thank you, that's all.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Conti, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
I didn't know anything, well, I didn't hear anything about that.